أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم.
The checkpoints, along with the settlements, were created to physically cut Jerusalem from its motherland in the West Bank. The project that Israel began in 1967 has started to bear fruit. 23 settlements and 12 checkpoints exist in what Israel now calls Greater Jerusalem. Israel's objective to cut Jerusalem from the West Bank and to create irreversible facts on the ground is working. Settlements now occupy 35% of East Jerusalem's land and account for more than 70% of the growth of the Jewish population in Jerusalem. Jerusalem is indeed the front line and the heart of the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. If Jerusalem is the heart of the conflict, the Old City is the heart of Jerusalem, the most fought-over square kilometre in history. Home to the Western Wall, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, the Al-Aqsa Mosque, and the Dome of the Rock. Every inch of this place is holy. 65 churches, 25 mosques, and 19 synagogues in less than a square kilometre. If Jerusalem is the heart of the conflict, and the Old City the heart of Jerusalem, then this place is the heart of the matter. To the Jews, it is the Temple Mount, the site where their first and second temples stood. And it is also the site where many Jews believe the third and final temple should be rebuilt. For the Muslims, it's the Al-Aqsa Mosque and the Dome of the Rock. For the last 1,500 years, Muslims have called it Haram al-Sharif, where Muhammad ascended to heaven to meet God. The battle for control over the Old City is different to the rest of Jerusalem. There is no room within the Old City walls to build a huge settlement to play with its demography. So the battle here is over the existing homes of Palestinian Christians and Muslims. Ataret Kohanim is a leading settler organization. Its main objective is to change the demographic makeup of the Old City by repossessing homes from Palestinians. These homes, marked by Israeli flags, can easily be spotted. The settlers are infiltrating the Muslim and Christian quarters, although not a single Muslim or Christian family is allowed to live in the Jewish quarter. The Palestinians are aware of Ataret Kohanim's intentions, but the settlers have very powerful allies on their side, including the Israeli government, along with substantial funds from right-wing Christian groups in the US. In 1987, the settlers recruited a powerful neighbour, Ariel Sharon, who repossessed a house in the Muslim quarter. Sharon has never spent a night in this house, but has left no doubt about his support for the settlers. The settlers are indeed powerful and connected, and every year they get the chance to parade their power when they march in Jerusalem to celebrate what they call the unification of Jerusalem. This year, they are celebrating their 40th anniversary. Ironically, this is the day when Jerusalem looks as divided as ever. A massive police presence floods the city so that the settlers can march in and around the old city. The old city is shut down and the Palestinians are kept under curfew. No one is allowed to enter or leave until the march is over.
There are glass walls between the two communities. We do not have the same education system, we don't have the same transportation system, we don't share the same language, we don't work at the same places. The two communities have separate city centers, business centers, services. Almost everything is divided.
The Israeli demographic policy has brought nothing but misery and despair to the Palestinians and a sense of insecurity to the Israelis. After 40 years, Israel and its settler organizations are losing the war of demography, especially where it matters most, the Old City. The population of the Old City is 35,000, of which Palestinians make up over 90%. The Palestinian high birth rate has kept the Palestinian population growing. They have been squeezed into every available space, but they are not leaving Jerusalem. And according to Jerusalem municipality figures, in a little over 20 years, Palestinians will make up 50% of the city's population. At the same time, Jewish population growth keeps declining. For the last 20 years, more Jews have left the city than have entered it. For secular Jews, Jerusalem is a tense, intolerant, poor, overly religious, and divided city.
We left it already. So many people are voting by their legs and foots. They simply walk out of the city.
The Palestinian demographic growth has been a problem for Israel from day one. Israeli politicians openly describe it as a biological bomb, growth cancer, and fertility weapon. So what do? They build a wall, a 9-meter high wall that segregates the city's neighborhoods based on ethnic and religious grounds, which pushes a quarter of the Palestinian population in Jerusalem outside the city.
The amazing thing about this part of the wall here is that this road in front of us, right here, was the main road that used to run from Jerusalem over on this side through to Jericho. And for hundreds and hundreds of years this was the main road. And now that wall runs right through the middle of that road and people can't go down to Jericho or come up or go back down to Jericho.
If you ask Israel what's the wisdom of building such a wall, they'll tell you it's for security. In recent years, militant Palestinian groups have sent 38 suicide bombers to West Jerusalem, claiming the lives of 171 Israelis. Jerusalem has at times looked confused, bloody, and ugly. Watching the path of the wall leaves you with great doubt about any security logic. Its snaking path around the city incorporates Jewish settlements and pushes out populated Palestinian neighborhoods